Get ready for a trip down to the creepy Louisiana bayou, where the swamps are dark, the water is murky, and the legends are alive. Meet Victor Crowley, a terrifying ghost who haunts the bayou and is always on the lookout for his next victim. This legend is more real than anyone ever thought, and a group of unlucky tourists is about to find out just how real it is. As they sail into the shadows, they realize they've stepped into a nightmare they can't wake up from. So, grab your flashlight and get ready to dive into the chilling tale of Victor Crowley. Imagine going fishing with your dad under a full moon, thinking you'll just catch some fish. But for Samson and his son Ainsley, this is no ordinary fishing trip. When nature calls, Ainsley takes a quick break, but something in the swamp has other plans. Suddenly, Ainsley's dad goes quiet, way too quiet. Ainsley rushes back, only to find his dad's body looking like it lost a fight with a blender. He grabs a harpoon, thinking he can fight back, but surprise, there's a monstrous creature lurking in the shadows, and it's hungry for more than just fish. Who knew a bathroom break could turn into a battle for your life? Picture this. It's Mardi Gras in New Orleans and the party is wild. But Ben's not feeling it. His girlfriend of 8 years just dumped him. So, instead of drowning in his sorrows, he drags his best buddy Marcus on a haunted swamp tour to shake things up. They hit a roadblock when they find out the first tour is shut down by none other than Reverend Zombie himself, because oops, lawsuits. But all is not lost. They find Sean, a tour guide who seems to have no clue what he's doing. Marcus wants to bail, until he spots 2 girls with no shirts and suddenly decides to stay. What a shocker. Soon they're joined by a mix of tourists, including a sleazy movie director, a Minnesota couple looking for thrills, and a quiet girl with a mysterious vibe. With this crew, what could possibly go wrong in the middle of a haunted swamp, right? Ben is trying to be friendly with Mary Beth, but she's not having it, while Marcus starts flirting with Jenna. Meanwhile, it's pretty clear that Sean, their tour guide, has no idea what he's doing. Things get sketchy fast as they reach the spooky swamp, where a creepy local warns them to stay away. But do they listen? Of course not. Instead, they watch as Shapiro makes Misty and Jenna take off their clothes for his Bayou Beavers movie. Because what else would you do in a swamp, right? Sean leads them deeper into the swamp, past creepy old houses, and starts telling the tale of Victor Crowley, a deformed ghost kid whose dad went bonkers and accidentally hit him with a hatchet. But just when things couldn't get any weirder, Shannon spots someone in the trees, and bam, Sean crashes the boat. Now they have to cross a broken tree to get to shore, but Jim gets bitten by an alligator and chaos breaks loose. Once they finally make it to land, everyone is freaking out because Jim's leg is like a leaky faucet, and they realize that Sean isn't even a real guide, he's just a broke college kid. Then, Mary Beth pulls out a gun and drops a bombshell. Her dad and brother disappeared in this very swamp, and she thinks Victor Crowley might be to blame. As the group panics, she spills the beans on the true, terrifying story of Victor Crowley. Looks like this haunted tour just got a lot more haunted. Let's take a trip back to the 1940s or 60s, where a deformed boy named Victor lived a sad life, hidden away from everyone by his dad. One Halloween, some kids thought it would be funny to scare Victor by tossing fireworks into his house. Bad idea. The house caught on fire, and Victor's dad tried to save him by chopping down the door with a hatchet. But in a tragic twist, Victor was pushed against the door and the hatchet hit him instead. Ouch. Sadly, Victor's dad died from a broken heart 10 years later. Mary Beth believes Victor's spirit now haunts the swamp, seeking revenge on anyone who dares to enter his territory. So, if you thought this swamp was just a spooky tour, think again. Victor Crowley is out for blood, and he's not letting anyone leave without a fight. Victor Crowley is not just your average swamp ghost. He's got a personal favorite hangout spot, right in front of his old house. So of course that's where our unlucky tour group ends up. Shannon, tired of everyone freaking out, decides to help her husband into the house, thinking that'll make things better. Big mistake. Victor shows up and takes out the Primatios like a pro. Mary Beth tries to save the day by shooting Victor, but all that does is make him fall down for a second. As the group runs for their lives, Shapiro gets left behind and meets his end at Victor's hands. The rest of the group soon finds Shapiro's body, and it's clear that their tour has turned into a full-blown nightmare. Keep your eyes peeled because Victor Crowley is out there and he's not in the mood for guests. Mary Beth comes up with a plan to head back to the Crowley house and grab some weapons to fight Victor Crowley. Sounds like a solid plan, right? So all 6 of them head back to the creepy house. While Jenna, Sean, Marcus, and Misty stand guard outside, Mary Beth and Ben brave the shed to find some weapons. Instead, they find the gruesome bodies of Samson and Ainsley. Ben tries to comfort Mary Beth and they grab a shovel and pitchfork for defense. But just as they're about to head back, Victor shows up and takes out Jenna. Talk about bad timing. Mary Beth and Ben jump into action, with Mary Beth using the shovel to knock Victor down and Ben stabbing him with the pitchfork. But things get even crazier when Sean reaches for the shovel, only for Victor to grab it first. Victor uses it to chop off Sean's leg and then decapitates him while the others run for their lives. It's clear now, the swamp is a dangerous place, and Victor Crowley isn't about to let anyone escape easily. With the swamp turning into a nightmare, the survivors hatch a plan to lure Victor Crowley back to his house and set him on fire using gasoline. They head back to the house with high hopes. Ben bravely enters the shed to grab a gasoline tank while Misty stands guard. Mary Beth and Marcus take on the dangerous job of being bait to lure Victor into their trap. But things go from bad to worse when they find Misty is missing. Then Victor shows up and throws her head and torso onto Ben. Gross. Ben manages to grab a tank and throws it at Victor, while Mary Beth and Marcus try to light him up. Just when it seems like victory is within reach, rain starts pouring down and puts out the fire. Now they're running for their lives through a spooky cemetery. They find the gate locked, and Victor tackles Ben, spitting blood in his face before dragging him away. It's a race against time to escape the swamp and stop Victor before it's too late. As the survivors sprint for their lives, things go from bad to worse when Victor grabs Marcus and kills him. Then, Victor snatches a gate pole and chases after Ben and Mary Beth, even throwing it into Ben's foot. Ouch! But Mary Beth's quick thinking turns the pole into a weapon, and she manages to make Victor impale himself on it. With Victor temporarily out of the way, Ben and Mary Beth jump onto Samson's boat and try to escape. But just when it seems like they might make it, Mary Beth gets tangled in seaweed and pulled underwater. She sees Ben's arm reaching out to her, but then Victor shows up again, holding Ben's severed forearm while he's barely alive. The film ends with Victor grabbing Mary Beth and making her scream in terror. It's a shocking and creepy ending that'll leave you on the edge of your seat. Which movie should we recap next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more movie recaps. Thanks for watching.